Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about ambivalence and mimicry. Ambivalence is the term developed in psychoanalysis to describe a continual activity between wanting one thing and wanting its opposite, and it also a simultaneous attraction towards and repulsion from an object, person, or action. When it adopted into colonial discourse theory by Homi K. Bhabha, describes the complex mix of attraction and repulsion, characterizes the relationship between colonizer and colonized. The relationship is ambivalent because the colonized subject is never simply and completely opposed to the colonizer. Ambivalence also characterizes the way in which colonial discourse related to the colonized subject, for it may be both exploitative and it to develop or represent itself as developing at the same time. Then we move to Homi K. Bhabha. He is an Indian English scholar and critical theorist, most important figure in contemporary post-colonial studies, and developed a number of the fields, neologisms and key concepts such as hybridity, mimicry, difference and ambivalence. Such terms describes way in which colonized people have resisted the power of the colonizer according to Bhabha's theory. In Bhabha's theory, ambivalence disreputes the clear-cut authority of colonial domination because it disturbs the simple relationship between colonizer and colonized. So, ambivalence is an unwelcome aspect of colonial discourse for the colonizer. The problem of colonial discourse is that it wants to produce complaint subject whose reproduce its assumptions, habits and values, that is mimic the colonizer. But instead it produces ambivalent subject whose mimicry is never very far from mockery. Ambivalence describes this frequently changing relationship between mimicry and mockery, an ambivalence that is fundamentally unsettling to colonial dominance. The effect of this ambivalence is to produce a profound disturbance of authority of colonial discourse. Bhabha's argument is that colonial discourse is compelled to be ambivalent because it never really wants replications of the colonizer. Maybe it would be too threatening. Bhabha suggests that this demonstrates the conflict within imperialism itself that will inevitably cause its own downfall. It is compelled to create an ambivalent situation that will disrepute its assumption of monolithic power. Robert Young has suggested that the theory of ambivalence is Bhabha's way of turning the table on imperial discourse. Bhabha shows that both the colonizing and colonized subjects are implicated in the ambivalence of colonial discourse, and the concept is related to hybridity because just as ambivalence disentrusts authority from its position of power, so that authority may also become hybridized when placed in a colonial context in which it finds itself dealing with and often inflected by other cultures. And then we move to mimicry. According to Bhabha's concept of hybridity, mimicry is the metonym of presence. Mimicry appears when members of a colonized society imitate and takes on the culture of the colonizers. It means when members of a colonized society imitate the language, dress, politics, or cultural attitude of their colonizers, it is a strategic adaptation by the colonized as a subtle act of resistance. Then we move to discuss about of mimicry and man. In Of Mimicry and Man, Bhabha lays out his concept of mimicry. His essential argument is that mimicry can become unintentionally subversive through the colonized in the process of mimicry rarely realizes he is undermining the powerful system enacted by the colonizer. Essentially, by copying them, he evidences how hollow they are. The essay begins with the assertion that colonialism results in irony, mimicry, and repetition. As colonialism produces these results, mimicry emerges as one of the most elusive and effective strategies of colonial power and knowledge. In Baba's concept of hybridity, mimicry is metonym of presence. Baba explains that mimicry is an exaggeration of language, culture, manners, and ideas, and mimicry is repetition with a difference. Thank you for listening.